Oh boy, there is something here for everyone. I have 5, really 6 different teams, a bunch of different strategies, a bunch of different champions. So if you are not farming Iron Twins yet, this is the video for you. What's up guys, MtgJedi here, how you doing today? I am so excited to be sharing this video on Iron Twins with you, and I've been working on a whole bunch of different teams and strategies for you. The main idea of all of these teams is we have usually about 2 or 3 champions for our survivability, and then 2 or 3 champions for our damage. Depending on where you're at in the game, you can customize this to your account. Like a lot of these are mix and match type of champions. There's going to be a lot of replacements here, and you could probably combine these strategies if you wanted to. But there's going to be a lot of different champions here, so I think that some one of these teams or some combination of these teams will definitely work for you. Let me know in the comments below if this does not satisfy the requirements that your account provides to you, and I can do a follow-up video with some more teams. The first team, is so fire. If you want to feel like you are unstoppable, the first team is for you. I think that it's basically impossible to lose and very easy to build. So let's go take a look at that one. Okay, the first strategy is going to be a resist strategy, and the core component of that is Oella, although you can use other champions that have increased resistance. Obviously Grazier is the GOAT as far as increased resistance, but you could use possibly Beauregard. You could also use possibly Rathmatab. The best one I've found is going to be Oella, because not only does she do increased resistance, she fills the turn meter, and then she has all these awesome heals. Her passive is sweet. All of that stuff is great, and her aura is really, really amazing. Don't forget, no matter what team you're choosing in Iron Twins or wherever, use the aura to fill in the missing stats that you need. I think all of these champions have at least 300 resistance paired with the resistance aura, and then the increased resistance buff is going to give us enough resistance that we're going to be very successful resisting the majority of the debuffs here. You're going to see Mithrala in a bunch of teams today. You're going to see Husk in a bunch of teams today. Those should be very common answers to Iron Twins. Mithrala, because she comes in built with crazy accuracy and resistance based on her kit. And then Husk is very survivable and provides that enemy max HP hit. Another great option is Blazar, or whoever you have with a 5 or 6 star Brimstone Blessing that is somewhat survivable. I know a lot of people have Blazars built from Sand Devil that maybe they're not using in Sand Devil anymore, and so you want a place to use him. This is the place. He doesn't need books. All he really needs is the Blessing, some survivability, and the Brimstone as the choice. I really like Stag Knight here. He does a lot of great things. Also, I just like using him, and he fit really well in this team. So let's see this run. None of these teams are going to be slow. These are all going to be reasonably quick teams. And what I will do after each team is go over the presets and the stats. And then towards the end of the video, I'll try to show all of the builds. But the builds are less important than the stats. Like, I don't think, like, the shield set or bolster or whatever that's on Husk is important at all. I don't think the regen set on Blazar is important. And Stag Knight has just, like, random gear. Mithrala has damage stats. That's not important. And Oella has just righteous gear, basically, to hit her resistance numbers. And so, like, the sets that I'm using on all of these teams are really not that important. It's the stats, okay? Now, you can see a couple of things here in this team. Number one, we're putting this protected Brimstone Blessing on, and that is just as good as you think it would be. Also, we have increased resistance up the whole fight, And so nobody is getting the stupid debuffs that the Iron Twins pushes out, and that makes our team feel unkillable when it really is not. So this is going to be less than a minute and a half here, and a lot of that depends on Brimstone procs. I think I might have a, what is the cooldown accessory on Husk. So if that procs, then you'll be able to see that will go a little bit quicker. Now, is Husk important or Blizzard important? No, not really. And I don't even think Stag Knight is important. Really, the core of this team is Oella plus Mithrala, and then the damage dealers, okay? And then Stag Knight is just kind of a flex spot that I think you could put whoever you want in there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the presets for this team. Okay, for the presets, you just want to prioritize Oella's A3, turn off Blizzard's other moves, just make him A1, Mithrala, just open on A2, let her do whatever she wants. Stag Knight can do what he wants, and Husk do the A2. And then you can pause if you want to see the stats here on any of these champions. I don't think any of them are crazy, and like Oella and Blizzard, you don't even need accuracy. Well, Blizzard, you would need accuracy to place the Brimstone. Okay, so you do need some accuracy. Mithrala, Stag Knight, and Husk, okay? So those are the stats that I'm running. There's a lot of flexibility there. So if you can't get all of those stats, just do your best to get stats that are similar. Team number 2 is going to be the endgame speed team. This is the one that I am using to farm here. We have some enemy max HP hitters that are still fine, even on the worst affinity. Whatever 3 that you want to put in there. I also put Geo in there, who is also fine. So basically 4 damage dealers and our Yumiko or whoever you want to reset your cooldowns. This is going to be quick and reliable. We're going to burst through the Iron Twins' health bar very quickly here. He is going to put some debuffs. Some people are going to die. And I am still determining whether this is fine to run on blue. Because I think if we get too many weak hits, it can fail. But we're not going to let the Iron Twins damage tick up far enough that it's going to hold us back. So, or kill us. I think Geo helps our survivability as well. There's a couple champions down, and then we're gonna get the blessing to finish him off. Okay, so 37 seconds, actually new best time. I think it can be quicker than that on the other affinities, so I'm excited about that. I think we were about 10 seconds quicker on the other affinities, if I remember correctly. But basically, you can throw damage at it with a reset champion and be very successful. You do have to have multi-hitters with enemy max HP. Like, I don't think this can be 3 cold hearts. You just won't survive. But the newts are defensive based. Acrizia has protection. Geo helps with survivability. You know, all of that stuff kind of does work together. Okay, and then the stats and speeds on this team, I don't think this is particularly important. Just whatever newt builds that you're running, whatever Acrizia build you're running. Geo, I mean, I still have my old high ridiculous accuracy build. You don't need that much accuracy, of course, and he's freaking slow. So speed tune him however you want, and you can use way less accuracy. And then Yumiko definitely doesn't need to be this fast either. You could even run a slow Kymar or whoever you want as your reset champion. If you have these champions, you can build this team. It's very easy. Spend, a little bit on it, and you'll be fine. Really, the only important one is Yumiko because she's fast. She needs to open on her A1 and then do her reset. Everybody else just does their enemy max HP hits. So pretty straightforward and obvious, but in case you didn't know that you can just like blitz the Iron Twins now, this is a great setup for that. Okay, getting back to some teams that are a little bit more accessible, we're going to use a Pytheon strategy here that pairs really well with a lot of different champions. If you are having trouble with survivability, you can put Aox back in here or another survivable champion instead of the Cold Heart and just run 2 damage dealers instead of 3. You can also obviously run the Husk there. I'm using the Accuracy Aura here because I thought that I needed it, but that could easily not be true. I probably don't need the accuracy. But whatever aura makes the team work for you is going to be the one that you want in the lead. So this team is really about Pytheon, and he is the main dude in the game that is great for this dungeon based on how survivable he makes your team. We're going to see some other survivable teams as well, and with some different champions, but this is based on the strategy that DeGreer and I showcased on his account that we were running for a long time with Aox. And I think, who else did we have in the team besides Aox? I think Aox was just in the Blazar spot, and the rest of the team was the same. It was very similar to this, but that team still works. If you look at some of my older Iron Twins teams, still going to work, and that is the case here. I was actually really fast, 47 seconds. We have a nice Cold Heart activation in there, and you could put any enemy max HP champion in there. Like Newt would be great in there, right? Whoever you want to put in there is really fine and customizable to your account. Okay, so I had priority 1 on this ability for Mithrala, and I think that's correct in this team because Pytheon's going to cleanse. And so Mithrala can cleanse whenever it makes sense for her. Cold Heart, obviously enemy max HP. Geo, obviously his ability. And then same thing for Blazar. So that is a really survivable team. Here's another really survivable team as well. If you have Duchess and then like not a lot of other things, you can come in here with Duchess in the lead. Obviously, she's going to have resistance for you. And then Vogoth is another great option here that I think a lot of us have forgotten about. But let's bust him back out the vault. Let's see this team in action. We have another variation of this team to showcase as well, and with some slight different versions. We got resisted there on Geo, which is just like a 3% thing, so that can happen. Obviously, you saw he has 600 accuracy, so it's not because of the accuracy, but it's not going to do anything except make the run a little bit longer. I haven't run, obviously it's not possible to test any of these Iron Twins teams like 100 runs or anything, but I have yet to see any of these teams fail. And so I think we're in a good spot with all of them. If you're running into issues and you need assistance, make sure you contact me. If you'd like me to build any of these teams for you, I do takeovers, and I'll be lowering the price for Iron Twins. So that will be included as a normal dungeon takeover now. And I think the same thing for Phantom Shogun. Well, I might still have to charge a little bit more for Phantom Shogun. It takes a little bit more effort on that team. But on Iron Twins, I think it's pretty customizable. So at least to start, I'll be giving some discounts on that. If you're interested in that type of service, you can go through my website or message me in Discord, and we will hook that up. You can see the Duchess team here is going to be a little bit slower, but again, none of these teams are slow, okay? Geomancer in here, he could really be anybody, but he's definitely going to speed it up and help with survivability, but I think Husk would work just fine there as well. We have, pretty easy team setup here and pretty obvious AI as well. Nothing on Duchess. I just have a lot of health on her. And I think she starts out in Stone Skin as well. That's obviously not important for this dungeon. We should be prioritizing Geo's A3 and Cold Heart's A3, but I think they did the right things. And then Vogoth in here, you just do whatever the heck. He's just in there for his passive. The other variation of that team is with White Queen and Cora, and I have been so impressed with her, it's not even funny. She has been like one of the best additions to the game in a while. She's super good. Now, Cold Heart in this team does tend to die, So it would probably be better if we put like Husk in her spot, or, Newt or somebody else who's more survivable. She will last a good deal into the fight, at least halfway. And then, of course, we have Geomancer, prime culprit over here. I think you can also use normal damage dealers in here. I was testing this with Wight King instead of Geo, so I think that anybody can really go in that spot. Just make sure that you're surviving, consistently. Make sure you're surviving consistently so that you can not be wasting your energy and your keys. I think Iron Twins rewards suck. So Plarium, it would be great if you buffed them. Just like buff, it's not even gonna change anything about your money, right? You're not gonna lose money. You're just gonna make people more interested in this content. But with that being said, I do still think it is worth it for the minor rewards that you get, because how else are you going to get the essence in this game? How else are you going to get it? So take the little that you can get, I guess. And plus, with some missions, you do need to be able to farm Iron Twins. Okay, so that is all of our strategies, and if none of those are going to work for you, it never fails. We can still do block damage, okay? So, the block damage strategy, what I did was I took both of my Husks and a Cold Heart, and I put 2 champions in here who are going to stop our damage. Emic with the Unkillable, and Roshkard the Tower with the block damage. And you can see he does have Brimstone, but I don't think he has a lot of accuracy. Let's actually check the presets right now just to see. Husk, pretty slow. Other Husk, same as before. Cold Heart, same as before. Roshkard, oh, he does have accuracy. Okay, perfect. So he has enough accuracy to land that. I think we can cut that down to around 400. But we do still need to do a little bit of investigation about how much accuracy is needed. If you see yourself being resisted, put more accuracy in there, okay? And if you only have 2 enemy max HP champions, put Mithrala back in this team as well. She can help, with survivability also. And then Emic here, I have open A1, priority 1 on A2, priority 2 on A3, and that's going to allow Emic and Roshkard to basically go back and forth and keep the team alive. I think any 3 damage dealers that you want to use here is fine, and not all of the speeds are super important as far as what I can tell. So like if you have a 222 Cold Heart, just try that. Try the builds that you have and see if it works, and then adjust them if needed. But the block damage is still going to work. It's still going to be a viable option. And a lot of people can just customize their teams. If you were already running a block damage champion in there, just take all the Painkeepers out and speed up your run. There's no need to run the triple Painkeeper team anymore. You simply don't need it. But if you want to, I think that it should still work, but you should be able to make it a heck of a lot faster. I think Geomancer in one of the enemy max HP spots would work well. And of course, you could put your like Blizzard type option in there, would be fine also. If you want that Brimstone proc from somebody else other than Roshkard. Yes, you can use Helicath. Yes, you can use Timit, I think. Timit does block damage, right? Whatever champions you want. I don't recommend trying to use like a Man-Eater in here. That block damage I think you still do need. And even if some champions die here because of the speeds being different, or just like a little bit less damage from here, there, and everywhere, it's still fine. You're still going to get to the end of the fight here. Okay? And that's the benefits of having the Husks in there for when that happens. Okay, so we've covered a lot of things in this video. Let's go ahead and look at all of those builds. I'm just going to briefly pause with each of them on screen, and then you can take a look at their gear. You've already seen their total stats on the other screens. I do have Emic in Reflex. No, I don't think that matters. I have Husk in Slayer. No, I don't think that matters. I have loved the second Huskin bolster, by the way. That's for Curse City, though, and is not important for this dungeon. Coldheart is just getting to stats. She has old gear, and I've used this build in a million different places and ways. I love the Blood Shield ring on her. It's terrible also, but it really, really helps with her survivability. The Mithrala in immunity is unimportant. That is something I was testing for a counter to Armand's. It didn't quite pan out as well as I would like, but it is decent. Stoneskin Ancora is amazing. You don't need this much resistance, and you don't need this much speed. Vogoth is in literal random gear. He just is in random gear that happens to be relentless. This build is slow and fine for PvE content. As we said, Geomancer is going to be in 6-piece accuracy, or perception, excuse me, and we don't really need that either. My Duchess is bolster and stone skin. You just do whatever you want with your Duchess, I think, whatever your survivable build, but some kind of regen or bolster gear is really nice on her. Here's the random Stag Knight build. He's in two speed sets and a perception set, but I did manage to get resistance on him for the resistance team. We have a bolster Pytheon, which is not bad. He's in bolster and stone skin as well. Very powerful combination if you can pull it off. We have the Blizzar. This is the same build I was using to solo Sand Devil, so you don't really need this level of stats for Iron Twins, but if you have him built, it's going to work. Let's do both of the Newts at the same time. I have them both in Savage for Fire Knight Hard, and I don't think that that's definitely not necessary. Acrisia is in Slayer, also not necessary, but helpful. Yumiko, just speed and perception. Her build's pretty kind of crazy, but you don't need that. You don't need that. The Oella build, I love. Super budget-friendly build on Oella. We have 2 sets of Righteous and then a broken set. I'm pretty sure the reason for the broken set is just I stole her gear. I mean, look at this terrible chest that's on her. This has had to have been on her for like a million years, like since Righteous came out. So I'm sure that you can make this Oella build. And then we have some other champions that I was testing out as well. Don't forget about Grazier. If you have him, he's insane. I didn't want to throw him in a bunch of teams, though, because, I wanted this to be accessible. So, anyway, that'll do it for me here at the end of the video. Let's see if we can get crit damage. We did not. Okay, well, I'm going to work on that, see if I can boost up his build, and you guys are going to go build some wonderful Iron Twins teams. I know you can do it, okay? And if you need help, you just let me know. I'd be happy to help you out. Thanks so much for watching. I'm MtgJedi. Have a wonderful day, and let me know in the comments which team is going to work for you. We'll see you later.